that was a way to start us talking about some mental health and mindset. Take a look at this and tell me what you think this might relate to.
Relate to in what form? What do you mean?
I don't like this music, man.
Surviving. Oh, okay. Is she drowning? She's drowning. And she's messing with us.
So while it's a kind of a creepy look at someone in a pool, like when it comes to stress and mental health, for many people that's what it feels like. I feel like I'm in a pool drowning. I don't know how to keep my head above water. I don't know how to stay alive. I don't know how to breathe. I feel like I'm kind of just drifting. That's what so many people are going through right now with mental health. They feel drowning. They feel like they're suffocating. They feel like there's no hope. If you're in a pool and you don't feel like you have control over your physical ability to move around a pool, you feel a little lost, don't you? Like the water might shift you a certain direction. It might engulf you. You feel like I'm straining just to keep myself barely afloat. And when it comes to our mental health, that's real. Drowning in real life, drowning in stress, drowning in anxiety, drowning in emotions. It's so real for people, and to have a conversation about it, if we can be open to saying, yeah, this is what people are feeling, now we give ourselves a chance to improve, okay? Now the CDC, Center for Disease Control, will give you all these stats, okay? And yes, stats are good, they're great, numbers are effective. What is shocking though is the stats that revolve around your age group, 3 to 17 years old. You know, 3.2% of children are diagnosed with depression. That's thousands and millions. 9.4% of children 2 to 17 years old, okay, diagnosed with some anxiety or ADHD disorder, attention deficit, not able to handle life. Mental disorders are so common now in kids. I mean, talk about stress, talk about anxiety, talk about depression, talk about not being able to handle and control emotions. It's not just an adult thing anymore. It is something that has infiltrated our hallways, it's infiltrated the schools, it's infiltrated the teenage and children's lives in our nation. Not good. And why is that? Why are we so stressed out? Why is there so much anxiety and depression? Why do we all feel like we're drowning? Yeah, I've had my bouts with depression. It doesn't care who you are, where you've been, where you're going. It doesn't care about any of that. And so when these numbers are up there, they can be something that causes us to inspire change and be open more about this topic and say, let's put an end to this. Let's not keep on going with kids who are 8 and 9 having severe stress and anxiety disorders. Let's not have teenagers who are struggling to get through their day because they're so anxious about life and things going on in their world. Well, let's start talking about this, because we can have all the greatest test scores we want. Like you can have a great math score, you can be super smart in this area, that area, but if you got one brain, one mind to take care of, and if that mind is suffering and it's drowning, what are we going to do to fix it? What are we going to do to fix it? Depression, stress levels, so far up now. Major depression, not just your depression. I get it. You put a major or minor. For someone who has depression, they don't care what you call it. Depression is depression. But DSM-5 and mental therapists, they will categorize things at different levels. So major depression right now is going up and up and up with people in your age group. Maybe the word major will help inspire some of that change, but it is going up, and we got to ask ourselves, why is that? Why is there so much severe major depression happening in the lives of teenagers and kids? What is leading into that? Are we having any influence? Can we control it? Can we help it? We look at the rates of depression and suicide, considering suicide. It has gone up over time. And before, suicide was one of those things that was a rare thing. Now, the mere talk of suicide and in teenagers and kids have risen up dramatically. And the fact that people are talking about it and kids are talking about it shows that they're starting to be more aware, and they're seeing that as a way to get out of the drowning. Like, I don't want to drown anymore. I don't want to be barely hanging on. What can we do to put an end to this? This is a real major thing. And when it comes to your wellness, I think it's probably something that should be at the forefront. Okay? Now, we have a few things that I want you to know. Stress. If you defined it, you could get two definitions. That would be pressure, tension exerted on a material object. So you think of your garbage bag at home. You put a bunch of trash into it, you have a really great meal, you have a really great cleaning day, and you put all that trash in the bag. What happens? It starts getting stressed out, and tension happens because there's more pressure and more things filling it up. It's not as loose. There isn't as much space available as there once was. And eventually, it's going to break. When we do that with our own lives, we take our brain and we start putting tension on it, pulling on it, messing with it. Eventually, it breaks. Or you could talk about the state of mental mindset here, the emotional stress you might be under, the emotional tension, the stressful tension inside of you that can't be seen. You can all know when the bag is about to break, right? You all know when your garbage bag is about to break open because it's filled to the capacity. But in terms of our mental health, that's something we often don't see. We can't look into each other and say, oh, their emotional bag is about to break. We can't tell. But if we can start understanding what stress is and how we can manage it, even better. Now, stressors, plain and simple terms, anything that causes stress. So it's a stressor to you if it makes you feel stressed or anxious or causes those nerves to start moving in your life. So that can be anything, and there could be a lot of those things available. Now, stress coping skills, once we identify the stressor, stress coping skills are a way to say, here's how I'm going to manage it. Notice the word manage, because no one ever eliminates stress. It's unbeatable. Stress always is going to be out there in our world. But how do we manage? How do we cope with it so we can thrive and keep pursuing the things that you want to pursue in life amidst the chaos, amidst the feeling of I might be drowning every once in a while? Okay? So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take 1 minute in your tables, or we can go on your own. I need you to write down as many stressors that are out there for people to encounter. Okay? You need to write them down. So guys, you need to write them down. So you need to have someone.
How do you forget stress?
Stress. Anything that's a stressor. So a stressor is anything that causes stress.
Life?
So that could be one. So I'm going to give you 1 minute to come up with as many stressors that someone could combat. It could be you, it could just be people in general. All right?
Someone could what?
Any stressor that someone could have. So you can think of things that stress you out, or you could just think in general. What could stress people out? Okay? 1 minute, starting now.
Are you doing?
How many things stress us out? How many things stress us out? Think about it.
One person at a time.
One person can write them out. One person write them out. Everyone else talk. What do you think? What do you think? Background. So certain music and tones of music that can cause some stress. 30 seconds. Think of as many stressors that are out there for you or people in general. If it sounds like a stressor, put it down. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I know that's a stressor for some people. All right, how many did you write down? How many did you get down? 9, 7, 4, 6. And that was just in a brief minute. Some of you were trying to think of these big ones, but think of all the small little ones too. Like maybe it's a sound, a buzzing sound. Maybe it's the sight of a certain color. Maybe it's a certain season, or maybe it's a certain little thing. So there are so many stressors that come to our mind right away. And many groups who are named 10 plus and under a minute, that says there's a lot of things that stress us out in life, right? There's so many things. There's things everywhere. We walk out the hallway, there's a stressor. We walk outside, we go home, there's a stressor. We go to work, there's a stressor. We go watch TV, there's a stressor.
People's opinion is a stressor, right?
People what?
People's opinion
Could that be a stressor?
That,
No.
because it could come from a certain person or a certain opinion. If someone says, hey, I'm for this, like, oh, that stresses me out because I don't like people who are for this. And just the thought of, that's why politics get people so crazy sometimes, because it stresses them out because of what opinions other people have. So when you're having these stressors, they are real, okay? So you name these stressors, right? And so we're going to do a little visual demonstration of what these stressors are going to do. So we have stressors in our life, like this baking soda. We add them, okay, to our life. Our life is going to be a bag and a paper towel. So we add the baking soda. It's a stressor. We can't manage it. We just keep putting the stressors in life there. Fold it on up because we don't want to let it affect us. We don't want anybody to talk to us about it. We're just going to handle it, right? Because we're all big and bad, and we are humans, and we can control everything, and we don't need any help. That's our mentality. So we fold all that up. We take some other things in life that get us going, like maybe some hot or warm water that get us in some situations that get us feeling angry, get us emotional. Okay. We also live in a time where there's, adding a little flavor to it, like vinegar. Vinegar is kind of not this good tasting supplement. It kind of has a
Good in salads.
Better in salads, not good on its own. No one's out here drinking straight vinegar because of the sour taste. Because of the bad things that will happen to it. So we start combining all these stressors in our life, okay? And we get to the point of we don't handle it. We don't learn to cope with it. We don't learn to manage our emotions. We just say, I'll figure it out eventually. So we bottle it up. We keep saying, no, I don't need any help. I don't need any assistance. Don't come to me for help. I got it. Well, now we drop everything in. We combine it all up into one big potion. Life shakes us on up. And in life, things start getting harder and harder. Our bag that was just regular, and I'm going to let it sit here, starts expanding because pressure starts rising. Chaos in our life starts rising. People keep talking the things that we don't like. The stressors that are in our life aren't handled. We don't know how to manage them. We just keep confronting it day after day after day after day. And it keeps going. Life shakes us up some more because we still don't recognize the need to change. You can see this bag is starting to fill. It was originally just a clear, regular bag, but now it's starting to fill with gas, it's starting to fill with energy, it's starting to fill with stress that we don't manage. And eventually, time. Because think about stress. It doesn't always happen a day up. It's built up time after time after time, letting things go on for months, weeks, years.
Couldn't pop.
Watch. And think about this. This is our life. And then it pops.
Then you're dead.
You're like louder than that.
That's a whole heart attack right there.
I mean, think about that. That's what we do, right? We put on the stressors in life. We put on all those things and we don't handle it. Eventually, we will, like this bag, burst open. We will pop. We will explode. That's where we have the major depression. That's where our stress overtakes our lives into being the main component of our daily walk. We just can't live without feeling stressed or anxious. We pop. I could plug this back up and it'd still start going again because we can't just say, okay, I'll fix it next time. Because it's going to do the same thing. It's going to get bigger because the chemicals are mixing, the stressors and the way we handle it is mixing, and it'll explode again. It doesn't just go away. We have to put an end to it before it starts expanding, before the stress overtakes your life. Okay? Think about this as an example. Yeah. So one way you could do this and help yourself is creating some coping skills. Coping skills are stress management skills that you can utilize to take away some of that stress, to ease the stress, to manage it. Now, here's a list of 99. Not saying any one of these is going to be the best thing for you ever. I encourage you to find one or two things in your life that you can go to when you are stressed out that do regulate you, that do help control your emotions, that do bring you back down before you explode like that bag did. You need it. Maybe for you it's taking a walk. Maybe it's playing with your pet. Maybe it's going, to a movie. Maybe it's drawing. Maybe it is exercising. Maybe it's creating something, online. Maybe being a creative. Maybe it's cooking and baking. You need to start finding that outlet for you that helps you manage and cope with the stress that will go on in your daily life before we explode like that bag did. So think about it. Maybe there's some ways, maybe there's some things you can do to try that get you to where you need to be. Because ultimately, that's what you need. Breathing is one of those things that I think we underutilize. Ladies on his phone goes away. Breathing is so important. And we don't do it enough. That's why, we were going to do some in here in this class. That's why breathing techniques. Learning how to breathe, how to manage stress, because what happens when we get so stressed out, our breathing becomes shorter, it becomes quicker, and then we start losing ourselves, like, I can't breathe, I can't get the breath up enough to sustain my life or sustain my emotions right now. Again, a drowning feeling. That's why we drown, right? We feel like I can't breathe anymore. I lost all the ability to breathe. So if we just take some time, a second to step away and say, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to relax my mind. I'm going to relax my body. I'm going to control my breath, slow it down. Maybe you need to do it in your daily life. If there's a time where you feel like, hey, I need to step into Mr. H's room, or I need to step into somebody's room and just breathe for 10 seconds or a minute, please do. Because it's more important that your mind and your stress reside a little bit rather than just go, and say, I'll get to it at the end of the day. I'll get to it this weekend. I just got to finish this work assignment, or I got to finish this thing, whatever it is. The stress keeps building up, we explode. So breathe. One thing I think will help you with your stress and people's stress and anxiety is purpose. I firmly believe when you have a purpose, when you have a mission, you are more likely to pursue and wake up every day with a brand new mindset saying, I'm going to knock this out of the park. I'm going to go win today. Because you have purpose. Purpose is saying, I have a reason for what I'm going to do today. Many people walk around with stress and anxiety because they don't have a purpose, or they don't know what their purpose is. They've never sat down and thought about, what is the purpose for me to grow? Okay? What is the purpose for me to be a person, an individual that helps society, that helps others? So, if you have purpose, you have a reason for why you exist. And if you have a reason for why you exist, now you're not having to worry about drowning. Now you're not having to worry about all the stress that happens in your life or is presented in your life, because you have a reason to exist. Remember, you are worth it. If you have a purpose, you have a direction, right? You think of a compass. Compass always points true north. Always does. It'll take you home whenever you need to. So if you have your compass out, where is it pointing? Which direction is it pointing to? What purpose does it give you? Is there a calling for you? Is there a mission for you? Is there something that you are aimed at being? Think about that. Find your compass. And then when you find your compass, you find your direction, you can also give your brain that dopamine, that feeling of, I'm excited. I can be great. I can do great things. Your brain gets excited when it feels that. It really does. And you're more prone to continue confident things. You're more prone to doing great things for yourself. Your brain isn't going to be fogged with that drowning feeling or stress and anxiety, because it has a mission. It has a purpose. It has a reason to exist.
You should be a psychologist.
No, my wife takes care of that. But then at the end of the day, we need to also be. So if you have your purpose, you need to be your purpose. Not getting caught up in what everybody else wants, or what everybody thinks you should do or should not do, or what everyone wants to do in the world. So, hey, this is the trending thing to do, so I'll just do that. You need to be. Be present. Be who you are. Not be someone who you wanted to be yesterday or someone in the future. Be who you are today. And if you be who you are today, you're going to be the best you today. You're going to get rid of some of that stress and anxiety, because it's not going to stay pent up. It's not going to grow and explode and burst your bubble, burst a bag in your life. So find purpose. Purpose gives true meaning, and it gives us a reason to go through our days when the highs happen and the lows of the lows. When you're stressed, when you're anxious, when you're feeling depressed. Purpose will win out in that area. So here's what we're going to do today for the rest of the time. You're going to take your creative skills and you're going to create, okay, for yourself, one word for this year, 2020. I don't know if any of you have heard this or done this, But it's a thing that many people do. A lot of people make New Year's resolutions. Others will create one word for themselves and say, this is going to be my word for 2020 or my word for whatever year it's going to be. So for instance, in 2019, I made my word for the year, kind of like my theme was the word develop. And then I used the other areas to kind of put in my mind, okay, this is why I want to develop. This is what I want to do. This is how I'm going to grow myself to develop myself and others and those who I'm around. I want to develop mind, body, soul. That's why I feel so called to be helping you, because there's something to that, and I want to develop that. I want to remind myself, for instance, that development happens sometimes in a dark room. If you've ever seen a photographer create a picture, like a real picture, not just something that's digital, what do? They go in a dark room, and then it produces the great picture at the end. And so I want to remind myself that in the year 2019, there's going to be some really, really dark moments, probably things that I'm going to be down and out about. But it's in the process of developing. So that was 2019. This year, it's a word called radaf. It's a Hebrew word. I want to go all foreign, okay? But it means to pursue, to run after, to fight, to put into action. And so this is the theme I want to give myself for 2020. I'm not trying to say you have to follow me. I'm just trying to give you some context as to what the one word of your year could be. It needs to be something that's personal. It needs to be something that means something directly to you, that gives you purpose. Because again, if you have purpose, you have a meaning and a reason to exist. And so when the stress comes, when the anxiety comes, when the depression comes, and they will, you can rise up and say, you know what, I am going to pursue getting better. I'm going to pursue greatness, or I am going to whatever word you choose. And you can choose any word. I mean, don't limit yourself. Any word that has meaning and significance to you. So that's what we're going to do for the rest of the time today. I'm going to get you a sheet. If you want to do it on the sheet, you can. Or if you want to create it digitally, there's a PDF version online that I can give you. Yep. I can give you both. I have both available to you. But I want you to come up with one word that represents your year, 2020. That'll say, this is kind of what I'm going to make my theme for this year. Okay? You need to create this page that reflects that word. Again, you use your own creative skills. There is no right or wrong way. You saw how I kind of went about it by putting some thoughts and some phrases on there, some pictures that had some meaning to me, that helped remind me of that word. You figure out a way to create something that represents who you are.